Hey everybody, Jerry here from Android Central, and in front of you we've got a disassembled, and I'll tell you why here in a second, Motorola Titanium we're having a look at. It's the new phone from Sprint Nextel. It's designed for the businessman, a little rough, little rugged, very well built phone. Matter of fact, it is so well built, I don't want you to have to watch me fumble with the battery door that I actually had to take and stick a paper clip in the side to pop open. So we're gonna leave it off and take a look here. An 1860 milliamp hour battery, great big battery in this thing. Combine that with the relatively small screen, we ought to get a ton of battery life out of this. That's great. Since it is a Nextel phone, you've got a SIM card here, and over here you lift this little rubber flap. You can take the SD card in and out. The retail packaging includes a 2 GB card. So let's snap the battery cover back on. There we go. I want to make sure it gets put in place. It is a very firm and affirmative. There we go. You know whether it's on or whether it's off. Also on the back, you've got a 5 megapixel camera with an LED flash. You know, Motorola cameras, they're always pretty good. We'll be sure to have a look at this one. You look up top in the center. Let's pop that open. It's covered under a flap to keep dirt out of it. There's your headphone jack. And you see 2 buttons here on the top. One is your screen on and off. It's, you know, wakes your phone or locks your phone. And the other is a ringer mute. That's always nice to see. A lot of my older phones have that, and I miss it sometimes. Hit the button, it mutes the ringer. Hit the button again, brings it back up. And over here on this side, you've got the camera button. You know, it's always great to have a physical button for the camera. And under this little door, all these little doors, feels like a puzzle, is your USB port. It's a standard micro USB. It's for charging and data connection. Down on the bottom, you've got a whole lot of nothing. You do have a lanyard hole right there on the corner. Over here on this side, you've got your volume switch. You know, up is increase, down is decrease, and your direct connect button. This is Nextel. It's got the chirp for, you know, the slang word everybody uses. Anybody out there with access to a push-to-talk phone, hit me up. We want to test this out with as many different people as we can. So give me a holler. You get my email right from the site, and I'll give you my chirp number, and we'll sit down and play a little bit and see how it works. And over here, got that door I forgot to put back on. The front of the phone, no front-facing camera, none of that stuff. This is a, you know, we're gonna call it a businessman's phone, a working man's phone. It has the sensors, proximity and light up here on the top, but no camera. Let's zoom in and have a look at this keyboard, because that's gonna be a major feature. Okay, and we're back in focus. You've got 4 buttons, 4 physical buttons here. The green and the red are your answer the phone and hang up the phone buttons. The red button is also your power switch, turns the phone on and off. Then you've got menu, home and back, search button down here in the corner. The keyboard, very reminiscent of a BlackBerry keyboard. Gonna take a little bit of getting used to get back to it, but I'll be sure to give her the old college try and let you know what I think of it. I happen to like this form factor, so I'm a little interested in using it. So let's turn it on and zoom back out and have a look at the software. It is Blur. It's not the new Blur. It's not the old Blur. It's like its very own version of Blur. You've got 5 home screens. Neat little trick this Blur does is you give her a quick fling and it'll go the whole way across. And if you go slower, of course, you can have a little more control over it. The widgets do not resize. That was a little disappointing. They, you know, they are a set size and they go on there. It's got the standard Motorola widgets, most of them that we're used to, and it also has a, you know, a couple direct messaging. Launch the contact list. Okay, you can see now. I hit that. and it's not doing anything because I don't have a contact list yet. That's why I need you guys to give me a holler. But you have that built in as well, or you can just use the button. Look in the app drawer here. Not a whole lot of bloat other than the standard Sprint stuff. I checked the market and put a couple of my own things in here. But you've got a NASCAR, Opera Mini is built in, Quick Office is built in, Sprint Football Live, the Sprint Zone, Twitter, Facebook, Telenav, that's all included. It's, not that bad. There's not a whole lot of room in it. I will make sure I have all the specifics listed in the post, but there's not a lot of room for, a whole ton of bloatware, so I'm glad that it's not just jammed full of it. And a lot of people find that stuff useful. I personally like Telenav, so, I'm sure there's people out there that like NASCAR and like football, so that's not a problem, really. Zip that back down. Excuse me. You've got your old-style blur buttons. One brings up the, the phone dialer. The other brings up the contact list, which you could easily just get to the phone dialer that way, too. A little redundant, but that's how it's done. There is a little bit of bad news here. Stand back up, there we go. And that is the software version on this phone. It is 2.1 update 1. Yeah, it's Eclair. That's a little sad. I'm sure there's a reason. They didn't do it just to, get bloggers angry and up in arms. I'm sure they have a reason to do it. Just still, it's a little bit disappointing, 4 versions later to see it 2.1 update 1, but that's what you've got. I imagine it's something to do with Nextel and Direct Connect. It's better than 1.6. That's what I'll have to say about that. Other than that, everything is as expected. You have all your standard settings. It's no real big surprises here. It's a Motorola. We assume that the network and the hardware is going to work really well. I'll be sure to test all that out. And then there's the keyboard to have a good look at. We'll put it through the paces and let you know what we think. In the meantime, I'm out of here. Talk to you all later.